folks, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Warhammer 2, and I've got you another tournament battle. This one again from the Krumpin Kup. This is match 2 from round 2 between RTK PrussianPrince and XMT UncleGant. I kind of introduced these players in the first battle. If you haven't watched it yet, go check that one out if you don't know who they are. If you didn't get some perspective on the first battle, go check that out, because here in just a second I'm going to say something that spoils the first battle. So pause it now if you haven't seen it and go watch it, okay? There you go, I gave you a chance. Anyway, so PrussianPrince won the first battle in the Bretonnia versus Empire matchup, and now this is game 2. UncleGant has got to come up with a victory, or else PrussianPrince is going to sweep the series and move on to the next round. So you can see here, this is going to be the PrussianPrince's High Elves versus UncleGant's Warriors of Chaos, and we've got a Kholek Sun Eater along with a Chaos Sorcerer Lore of Shadows here. And as far as the spells, let's check that out real quick. Is that Mind Razor? No, it's Pendulum. Sorry, yeah, it is Mind Razor. Sweet. You don't get to see this one very often. Mind Razor can put a ton of extra damage onto a unit like Kholek. It's a very cool spell. Again, you don't see very often. Pendulum's obviously very useful against hurting blobs of infantry, cavalry. Pretty much anything that's blobbed up, it'll hurt it. So we got Kholek and then his smaller cousin Kevin here, I guess, the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. And then there's 4 units of Chaos Marauder, 4 units of Chaos Marauders. These are just cheap shielded infantry that can just be a nice hit point sponge or absorb some arrows or something else like that. We got some Knights with Lances here on this flank. Knights with Lances are a very heavily armored unit, and they have a shield as well, which gives them, honestly, their melee defense isn't that good for a heavy cavalry with a shield, but these guys have a really good melee attack, and they have a massive charge at 40, and although it's not AP, 46 weapon strength is pretty stout. So Chaos Knights with Lances do pack a punch in a lot of different fights. There are some Chaos Armored Trolls here, which is a pretty cool unit. Again, these guys come with much higher armor than your standard Trolls. They're not shielded, but they still dish out good damage, and they're a little more survivable. Anyway, that's the Chaos Army, and as for PrussianPrince and his High Elf Army, he's going to have Alarielle on her Eagle, and then we've got a Star Dragon, and obviously that's to be used with the Star of Avalorn, and then there's also going to be Earthblood and Shield of Thorns. Shield of Thorns, of course, giving some resistance and I believe some attack buff all at the same time. There's a couple of Illyrian Reaver Archers, one of which is the Heralds of the Wind, and the Heralds of the Wind, I believe, is just a better melee combatant than a typical Illyrian Reaver Archer. So here's another Reaver Archer out here. And then we're going to have some Dragon Princes out here on this flank, some Silver Helms, and some more Silver Helms here. It's an interesting pick against Chaos. It kind of feels like he was expecting Chaos to maybe bring, maybe more like Chaos Warriors or something like that and try and run over him, because he's gone with an all-mobile army. He's even got a Noble here, which is going to be good at taking out infantry. But Chaos has also come extremely mobile. Warhounds with Poison supporting the Knights with Lances is actually a really cool touch too. Let's hit play. This battle is going to unfold quickly because both factions are going to move quickly and be able to cause some decisive engagements pretty quick here. Quick. I keep using the word quick. Y'all get it as quick. I forgot the chariots here too. We got chariots rolling around. Now chariots obviously were meant to go after infantry or archers, but you know what? Whatever. You can still throw them into these fights just to help out. It won't be a total waste, I don't think. See the Marauders here being used as kind of extra hit points. PrussianPrince doesn't really want to take an engagement this early, and he shouldn't. With this all-cavalry army like this, he's going to want to try and expend as much ammo as he can. And per tournament rules, I believe as long as he's shooting, he is attacking, even if he's falling back and trying to avoid the melee engagement. As long as his archers are up firing and attacking, then he is actively considered to be attacking. I do believe all players have to always be in the act of attacking. I could have that wrong, though. You'd have to go check the links for the tournament rules. But in any case, you can see here that UncleGant obviously wants to get an engagement started. You can see the Silver Helms retreating. Basically everything for the Elves retreating. I'm kind of expecting to see a Dragon Breath here, but I haven't seen one yet. Honestly, a Star Dragon can actually do really good breath attack damage to single entities as well. If you could get Kholek or the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth to stand still, he can cause a lot of damage to those as well. So you can see PrussianPrince now going to take a charge where it's just infantry, and he also probably wants to be able to get away, but Kholek turns around awfully quick and comes in trying to pin these Silver Helms down, and they have to get out. And sure enough, there comes the breath attack. It actually eats up a lot of infantry hit points there. Here comes some Dragon Princes. Nothing on the Chaos side has fire damage. Dragon Princes are highly resistant to flaming damage. Just something to remember. See here, got Standard Eye, Foe Seeker for Kholek. He's going to use his Lightning. Star of Avalorn pops, and then the Star Dragon comes down in thinking that he can help KO Kholek pretty quickly. Occam's Mind Razor now on Kholek. He is going to be dishing out a lot of damage. I got 1,013 damage for Kholek, but there's a lot of targets around him, and Kholek is definitely in a bit of trouble. Fortunately for him, though, he's got support, infantry support. He had troll support until it got its face pounded in. But obviously the Star of Avalorn given Chaos a lot of grief. Over here, the Heralds of the Wind, the Illyrian Reaver Archers, and Silverhelms just get smashed by the forces of Chaos over here, led by that Shadow Sorcerer and the Knights with Lances. See here that the Trolls are routing. They're being hit by Dragon Princes. And then Kholek now in pretty big trouble, but he manages to stabilize, and he puts a huge hit on Alarielle. And now the other Shaggoth is kind of blocking up against the Star Dragon too. So Alarielle ends up in big trouble real fast here. She's in a heavyweight fight and may not have a good way out because of the Chaos Infantry. Look at that. Kholek just swats her and sends her running terrified. And that leaves the Star Dragon in this fight alone. And all of a sudden, it's going to be in bad shape too, because you're going to have a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth fighting that. You can see here the Chaos Knights with Lances should do good. The Elves really don't have any good cavalry for going after the Knights with Lances. There's no Fireborn here, so nothing with anti-large. And the superior armor and attack stats of the Chaos Knights with Lances is going to be pretty devastating. Pretty devastating indeed. There is some Dragon Princes out here. The Dragon Prince charge is equivalent to the Knights with Lances. Let's actually look at their attack stats. Yeah, but see the weapon strengths. They are being poisoned, though, to be fair. They are being poisoned. So that is playing a role on their weapon strength. I'd have to look at it outside of that. But UncleGant coming out with a convincing victory here, this Chaos build. So after dropping Game 1, he comes back and wins a convincing victory in Game 2. And that's going to send them on to a third game for this series, which I think I'll have recorded and up tomorrow. So keep your eye out for that if you want to see it. Again, I love both these players, so I just thought it'd be fun to cast these and just try and put some more exposure out here for this tournament that HapyPupy and Wicked did so much work on. And then also as a thanks to all the players who played in this tournament. Some of these matches, like this one, they didn't get broadcast or anything, and I really appreciate all these players joining and helping bring something special to the channel. Since I can't host tournaments all the time, I am thinking about seeing if anybody wants to help me host one soon, like Wicked or some of the other people out there in the community. We'll see. And then I'll stick around to try and cast like a certain part of it or something, even though I can't be there for the whole thing, and then at least get to be a part of the event. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to be involved in it. It is a lot of fun, and maybe just play in one myself too. I don't know. I don't play in these things. It'd be a fun challenge. But yeah, fun battle here. I mean, very elite army here for PrussianPrince. I think he was expecting a potentially different type of army build from the Chaos, because it just doesn't seem like what he had here was the matchup that he ended up coming up, maybe what he expected. I think he maybe expected a little more infantry from Chaos, something a little slower moving that he could skirmish and try to pick apart, whereas almost everything here for Chaos was fast. Really, the Marauders were the only exception to that rule. Everything else here was very quick moving. But Chaos not typically a very quick-moving faction. While they do have some fast movers that are decent, again, if you go infantry-heavy with them, they tend to be fairly slow. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. Come back for the last one, and I can't wait to see you then. And HeirofCarthage signing out for now.